Love is Blind Season 4 was exciting until the end when the cast got together for the reunion and threw several shady comments toward the producers. Love is Blind Season 4, which was set in Seattle and followed couples like Tiffany Pennywell and Brett Brown as they tried to forge meaningful relationships sight unseen, has stirred up quite a bit of drama throughout its run. From tricky relationships like Micah Lucier and Paul Pedens to unlikely matches like Kwame Appiah and Chelsea Griffin, the series has offered an interesting mix of relationships throughout its most recent season. The Love is Blind Season 4 reunion went off the rails entirely before the production even started, beginning with a nearly 90-minute delay and continuing on with biased hosting from Nick and Vanessa Lachey and the absence of one of the main sources of drama within the season, Jacquelina Bonds and Josh Demas. With the delay of the reunion special, viewers were left outraged by the content and focused on major issues, like Irina Solomanova's lack of accountability. However, many missed the moments where the cast called out production, making it clear that while the feelings are real, Love is Blind may be more scripted than expected. 5 Love is Blind's Chelsea shares that moments were produced early in the Love is Blind reunion. Vanessa took the opportunity to ask Micah and Kwame about their relationship, which didn't make it past the pod phase. On the show, there were various moments when Micah came to Kwame to ask about his relationship with Chelsea to see how he was feeling or if he had any doubts about their marriage. Chelsea confronted Kwame about one of these conversations, and he apologized for his behavior but seemed to be repeating it any time the cast was in a group setting. When asked about their relationship during the reunion, Kwame and Micah had little to share. While Micah was engaged to Paul throughout the season, it seemed like she was possibly regretting her decision and potentially trying to make a play for Kwame's affections. During the reunion, after a clip was shared of Chelsea and Micah talking about Kwame, Chelsea spoke openly about what happened on the show. Chelsea shared that while the first interaction between Kwame and Micah, which she had an issue with and addressed with both parties, was real, any other interactions between the two were aided by production for drama. While this was somewhat shocking, it offers a far more realistic explanation of Kwame and Micah's behavior. For Love is Blind's Irina explains there was more to her interactions with Zach during Irina's segment on the reunion. She was given the opportunity to discuss her behavior in the series, which was generally ill-received by the audience. Irina, who was engaged to Zach Goitowski on the series before breaking it off, was met with questions from the hosts and Zach himself, who couldn't fully grasp where she was coming from. Zach, who went on to return to Seattle after his breakup with Irina and found love with his ex Bliss Poritazadi, called Irina out for coming onto the show for fame. After Zach's odd display of clout chasing, Irina was unable to defend herself properly at the moment. Once Irina was able to speak on her own behalf, she explained that while she was in the pods, she began to suffer from severe anxiety. The longer she stayed with Zach and on Love is Blind, the worse things got. Even though she shared with producers that she was hoping to leave the show, she was convinced to stick around, likely due to the hefty fine Love is Blind participants could have to pay if they leave early. Irina's admission that production pushed her into staying around and making herself look bad was a surprise, even knowing she was uninterested in her choice. 3 Love is Blind's Micah says she was a victim of the edit. Micah, who spent a lot of her airtime during the reunion answering for her behavior early in the pod phase, was made out to be a villain on Love is Blind Season 4. While Micah was aware of the role that editors play on reality TV, It was clear from her reception at the reunion that she has not had the best time watching her edit back throughout the season. At one point during the reunion, Micah made it clear that she felt she was a victim of the edit, knowing her actions were made to look a certain way when in reality, her intentions were different. To Love is Blind's Kwame spoke on production's requests of him. Kwame spoke candidly about the way production treated him as a contestant of color on Love is Blind. As Nick and Vanessa moved through the interviews with other contestants, Kwame was asked about his sister Barbara, who was thought may be a paid actor. Kwame dispelled this rumor and wanted to speak on how he was presented in the pods as well, especially since he was hoping to go by his real first name, Alex, on the show. According to Kwame, he was told to go by Kwame rather than Alex, but not to discuss his race in the first few days within the pods. While this seemed like a normal request at the beginning of the experiment, it was something that ate at Kwame as he wanted to accurately represent himself in the pods to the women he was hoping to connect with. Since the Love is Blind production team wanted as much of the cast's appearance to be kept under wraps aside, Kwame having to censor a part of himself was difficult. It's obvious he felt it was unnecessary at the moment, and though he adhered to the rules, the request is questionable at best. One Love is Blind's Marshall called out production for interference during the end of the reunion. Vanessa spoke to Jacquelina and Josh remotely, asking them a few lighthearted questions about their time on the show without audience interference or any real accountability for Jackie's actions towards her ex Marshall Glaze. Marshall, who has been publicly dragged by her during Love is Blind Season 4, was at the live reunion and had some difficulty with Jacquelina choosing not to attend. Jacquelina got to escape from the responsibility she'd have to take for her actions if she'd been there. While Vanessa asked questions about Marshall's experience on the series, he tried to answer openly while not speaking too negatively so that the public mess between himself and Jacquelina could finally be put to rest. Regardless, Marshall still called out production during the Love is Blind Season 4 reunion for the hand they played in his and Jacquelina's demise. He also questioned the timeline of Jacquelina and Josh's relationship and whatever role production could have played in helping the two get together so soon after the end of his engagement.
Love in the modern world is fake when love was meant for joy too. When I find you, I realize that somehow we lie. Love in the modern world it is fake when love was meant for joy. I know that he hurt you. Your 5 inches of heartache.